I can be good with people. I can be good with crafting and creating policies or new initiatives for people. Then I realized that I'm a people's person. I am not aiming for a 99% or a 95% from now. Get some decent marks, but pursue your passion. I didn't know if I was good at it or this was my strength or potential because I was coming from a very different background. Don't mix learning versus earning. Learning will always take a higher place in your life as versus earning. Earning अपने आप चल के आएगी.
Welcome to We Talk, the podcast where we have interesting leaders tell us who they are, where they come from, and how they reached where they are right now. Today we have Sonali with us. Sonali's journey started in Korba, and from there she went on to do HR at L&T, Swarovski, and started her own venture, which is Acapella Consulting. I think it's a very interesting journey to hear. Welcome so much, Sonali. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Bindi.
Sonali, why don't we start from the very start in Korba? Why don't you tell us a little bit about where your journey started and how you've gone through ahead in life then?
Sure. Would love to talk about Korba, Bindi. Very interesting place. Basically, NTPC has their super power station there, super thermal power station, and my parents used to work there. Both my father and mother, both of them worked, and I grew up in that little township. So that was our world. Typically, my schooling, my upbringing, everything happened there. So whatever I learned from experiences and my childhood was spent in that little township. When I say my world, it was interesting because we had a school, we had a friends, we had nothing else apart from that. But we still were very happy as kids. We never felt that we have been not exposed to a lot of other things which are already available to the city kids, because I felt I had no time. I was doing my schooling. After school, I had lot to catch up on my passion areas. My parents were super encouraging when it came to passion, because my dad used to say, I am not aiming for a 99% or a 95% from you. I'm not even aiming that you come first in class. Get some decent marks, but pursue your passion, because that's going to build you as a person who you are tomorrow.
So बहुत सारे extracurriculars करा.
बहुत extracurricular. I was involved in sports since my childhood. I was involved in music. Art jab manaya, but majorly music and sports was something which was my passion area. So I learned my vocals. I took my vocals training from there of Hindustani classical. एंड स्पोर्ट्स के कोच मेरे डैड ही रहे हैं सिंस माई चाइल्डहुड. मतलब वो स्टॉप वॉच लेकर ट्रैक करते थे दैट व्हाट इज योर 100-meter का टाइमिंग. So that's how I grew up. So we had stadiums, football grounds around. We had everything around in that little place. So we felt fulfilled and sufficient. So never ever we used to complain that हमें ये नहीं मिल रहा है, हमें उस रेस्टोरेंट में जाना है, हमें इस कैफे में जाना है, because we were not aware of it, the best part of it. So दुनिया ही वही थी हमारी. But I feel lucky. And today when people ask us, where are you from, where have you grown up, though I belong to MP, Jabalpur, my parents are still settled there. I'm a Bengali, now married to a Punjabi, settled in Delhi since so many years now. Have seen, and we had different cultural background, people coming from different cultures. We celebrated each and every festival, so we knew what this festival belongs to, which part of India, and how it is celebrated, because we made sure, in fact NTPC made sure that the employees who are working there, their families are well engaged, they feel home wherever they are. So they allowed us do everything. I mean, those
so you're a mini India
over there. Yeah, and still we are connected. I mean, still all our schools.
Wow. And then where did life go from there then?
From there, yes, then my life started with a stream called biotechnology. That was my love of life for 3 years. And then I landed up into a management school. And then finally, corporate happened to me. I never wanted to move into this field. I was always inclined towards pursuing genetics in future, but somehow that didn't happen. And there was a boom of MBA, when I started my master's. So everyone said, okay, do it, let's see. And I didn't know if I was good at it or this was my strength or potential, because I was coming from a very different background. That place, that township had full of engineers and doctors in our community, because NTPC hiring engineers, they used to hire engineers, so we had that inspiration. People and all our seniors also, either they used to crack IITs or they're going to some medical colleges. So we had very little exposure to the other areas. And management, yes, hardly people used to even talk about moving to commerce, taking commerce as a career. So I took management, and when corporate happened, I think from my first assignment, because I joined a consulting firm for a few months and was very much involved in talent acquisition. I learned the art of it. I started enjoying it. And when L&T happened, I think within L&T, there was this trajectory of mine which helped me discover my talent and my potential, that okay, I can be good with people, I can be good with crafting and creating policies or new initiatives for people. Then I realized that I'm a people's person, and this is what I enjoy doing.
That's interesting. From genetics to like,
Yeah.
HR, a people person.
Yeah.
I mean, did it ever occur to you what caused this to happen, or?
One day, yeah, it hit me because I just recalled that my mother had spent her years in human resources when she was working with NTPC. So maybe it was in DNA. I didn't know it. I was not, inclined towards that area. But yeah, when I started working, I felt, yeah, this is my playground to grow. I think here I can grow my skill sets more because I started loving it. And बचपन से ना एक चीज रही है, इफ आई डोंट लाइक इट आई कैन नॉट जस्ट मेक इट माई ग्रोथ पाथ.
Makes sense.
तो मेरे लिए वो इंटरेस्ट होना उस फील्ड में बहुत जरूरी है. इट यूज टू हैपन विद सब्जेक्ट्स ऑल्सो. द सब्जेक्ट्स विच आई डेंट लाइक, आई डेंट स्कोर वेल.
वो तो सारे ही करते हैं
सब्जेक्ट्स
ना.
विच आई लव्ड, आई स्कोर्ड वेल. तो
Yeah.
बहुत डिफरेंस होता था मार्क्स में भी, मतलब वेरिएशन रहता था बिल्कुल. और वो मेरे करियर में भी ऐसे ही रहा. मतलब आई लव L&D yes, I excelled in it. And finally, while working, I also realized, though L&T gave me a lot of experiences into various fields, started with talent acquisition, then management, employee engagement, L&D, OD. Then when I moved to Swarovski, a complete different world of sparkle, elegance, and also the culture was very different. I was working with an Indian MNC, which was highly hierarchical and, a different culture, very, very much like a PSU culture. And when I moved to Swarovski, it was a very smart European culture, a very cool culture. People had a different approach towards life and work both. So I enjoyed being there also. I was fortunate to have good teams in both the places and good leaders at both the places whom I reported. In L&T also, I had wonderful managers under whom I learned so much. In Swarovski also, I had someone who further, carved and further developed and gave me that space to grow as a professional and to take up HR operations and to work in my space. So within HR ops also, talent management and engagement was my piece. So she completely gave me the responsibility for APAC region also. That she said, when I'm heading so many other areas, why don't you take this up and structure the things which are unstructured in our industry.
So you were lucky to actually get managers that built you up beautifully to do so much.
A lot of people say कि यार managers होते हैं तो काम नहीं होता है. In fact, उल्टा था मेरे केस में. Managers नहीं होते तो मुझे लगता था I used to miss her. So when she left the organization also, yeah, there was a void I felt in my life. But then, yeah, that also gave me space to grow more.
But in a sense, you also learned what good managing is, or how good leadership should be to build the HR of a company.
Of course.
And then how did acapella happen, right? I mean, one, that name is so unique. I associate that with music. How did that happen for you?
So somewhere in my heart, I knew that I have to do something of my own, and that seed actually started growing from L&T only. Because loved the policies wherever I worked, but I still felt that the world is changing. It's moving very fast, and if I get opportunity to create of my own and advise leaders and corporates and partner with them to bring those initiatives in their organizations which can help people grow, which can give people a new horizon of growing their careers, I think that's my calling. So that's how it happened. So after Swarovski, I took a break, not really a professional break, but it was a personal break. So Zidane, my son, happened to me, and he came to my life, and I think he gave me a lot of strength that yes, now is the time. You have one baby, you can found one more and craft it beautifully, nurture it with your hand, and my journey started from there. A cappella, rightly mentioned, it's a group of people. It's a musical band. They perform music without any instruments, so that is the beauty. I mean, they produce the sound of vocals and the instruments from their vocal cords. That's the only resource they have. But when they perform, it's flawless, and the synchronization is beautiful. The understanding between the vocalist and the instrumentalists is amazing. So I felt this is what organization needs to do. They need to build that a cappella where the function is flawless. It within those minimal resources that they have. Only then teams can function.
True.
So the beauty of interdependence, I think I saw in those a cappella bands, and that's how I got inspired with this name, and I kept it for my organization.
And what all do you do in the organization?
So what we do is we partner with the leaders of the firm. We understand where is the gap, as in with respect to people skills, with respect to organizational culture, and we map that gap through our diagnosis, and we typically do that health check and the pulse check both. Health
Nice.
check of the organization, where are they and what are their future goals, how we can partner, collaborate, and help them grow in this industry. And we do a pulse check of employees also, which is very, very important.
And then you
because-
work with the employees for their
Yes,
journeys.
Yes, for the journeys. We create journeys. We break down into little pieces of their journey, because not that easy for everyone to absorb a journey and be and sustain in that journey that well along with their work. So whenever we go and talk about L&D, it comes as an additional piece to even founders, additional expense, and an effort, an extra effort to the employees.
Right.
कि अच्छा मुझे ये skill भी update करना है. But what we convey is, आपको ये करना नहीं है, ये आप already कर रहे हो. आप already आ चुके हो. The moment a person comes out of campus and steps into their professional world, the journey starts from there. The beautiful part is we don't focus as individuals कि हमारा एक बहुत interesting model है learning का, which is 70, 20 and 10. तो हमारा जो 70% learning है ना, वो तो life skill ही है. While we are growing up,
by doing,
getting that experience. So similarly, when they're joining the organization, वो already वो on the job training शुरू हो गई है. You have to be vigilant enough. You have to be very sound and meticulous about what I'm absorbing from my surrounding. किस लीडर के अंडर मैं क्या सीख रही हूँ या सीख रहा हूँ is very, very important in those initial years. And फिर वो 20% तो हो ही जाता है through lot of exchange of information, the projects that we work on, some interesting mentors that we get out of our departments. So that happens. So for me also it happened like that. 70% I realized when I stepped into my career, I started my corporate journey, कि already Papa or Mama my parents have already given that 70% of learning to me. And I was trying to recall back those learnings from them. In fact, you won't believe, when I was preparing for my interview in L&T, I called up my father and I kind of revised how a power plant looks, because I was going to the power business. It was important for me to understand each and every section of power plant. And he happily explained me with, and in detail.
Right.
So it helped me to crack. So I think this little preparedness, I would recommend that the youth should take a step before even going for any interviews or picking up such meaningful internships, to start their 70% of learning nicely and constructively. वो बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि और 10% तो मिल ही रहा है through education, through trainings, through certifications. That is available everywhere, and nowadays everything is online. So 10% is not problem. Problem is, how do you take that 70 and 20 and how do you blend your learnings together to grow as a professional? So हम वो journey जो है ना piece meal में समझाते हैं even to the leaders and to their employees, कि बहुत सारा एक साथ एक platter में उनको ये ना लगे कि यार lot to spend and lot to spend in terms of money and time both.
So बहुत सारे लोग when they think of OD or OB, बहुत सारे training करते हैं या test करते हैं. What prompted you to do this, right? Like, why did you pick up this particular piece of working with people? Because the 70% piece is the most difficult piece to work on.
It is.
Why did you guys pick this, or why did you personally do this?
So it was again through my experience of working with people, managing them, and when I was working under certain policies, I could see the gap very clearly. A organization thinks that this policy is best for my organization, but is it really best for people who are going to follow that policy or who are going to live with that policy? तो वहां पर एक गैप है और वो हमेशा रहता है कि एक कुछ सोचकर हम डिजाइन करते हैं पर हम एसेस नहीं करते हैं कि हमारा पल्स क्या है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पीपल वी आर ब्रिंगिंग इन, एंड इट स्टार्ट्स राइट फ्रॉम व्हेन यू स्टार्ट हायरिंग पीपल.
Correct.
What kind of effort are you making while hiring people? And it also, why we work with leaders very closely is जैसे एक फैमिली में जो हेड ऑफ फैमिली है, लाइक आवर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स मस्ट हैव सेट अ कल्चर कोड इन द फैमिली, और वही फॉलो होता जा रहा है, उन्हीं प्रिंसिपल्स के साथ हम ग्रो करते हैं और वो एकदम इनग्रेन्ड रहता है हमारे खुद के नेचर में. Similarly, when a founder or a leader is, opening an organization, starting up fresh, तो एक दिमाग में कुछ सेट ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स है, एक कल्चर कोड है जिसके साथ वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को शुरू कर रहे हैं. तो वो ग्रो तो होता जा रहा है. पहले 5 से 10 लोग तो उस कल्चर कोड को समझ के फॉलो कर रहे हैं, वो जो N-1 लेवल है. Is it really cascading to the last level? To the youth who is coming and entering your world? That culture code needs to be communicated well and constructively, and while making meaning to their lives as well. So we work on bridging that gap.
And that sort of gives you a high because you're working with humans, और आप मतलब पूरा तोड़ रहे हो ना, एक तो एक जिक्सॉ पजल की तरह है.
Exactly. It's so difficult to understand a human brain. So howsoever you conduct a psychometric assessment, I am a certified assessor. I have whenever I've worked on reports with individuals, some people have accepted it very well. Some people have just taken a back with their reports and they have just not accepted, this is not me, because I have been living a perceived personality these many years. क्योंकि मैं एक सराउंडिंग में ग्रो हो रहा हूँ, प्रोफेशनल एनवायरनमेंट है, कुछ पर्सनल है, तो हम एज ह्यूमन हमेशा एक ग्रुप में फिट होने की कोशिश करते हैं, एंड धीरे 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 हमारा नेचुरल सेल्फ लूज हो जाता है और हम एक परसीव्ड वर्ल्ड में घुसते चले जाते हैं. When I do these assessments, my job is to make them realize that this is your inherent style. So when we are doing these assessments or we are sharing these reports to leaders and managers, and we always suggest that start from the top so that you know what is your inherent style, and then also do it along with your teams, so that you know what kind of people you have and are they at the right places. The fit is right. हमने ले तो लिया because उसका past experience ये था, पर क्या हम जानते हैं उसका नेचुरल स्टाइल ये है? क्या वो आज से 6 महीने बाद या 1 साल बाद या 2 साल बाद बर्नआउट नहीं होगा? आर यू श्योर अबाउट इट? वो बर्नआउट तभी होगा व्हेन इट इज नॉट हिज नेचुरल सेल्फ.
एंड टेल मी दिस, मतलब आप तो यू वर्किंग अक्रॉस द स्ट्रेटा, बट अगर यूथ आते हैं, लाइक बिकॉज आई नो मैनेजर्स आर गेटिंग यंगर एंड यंगर, मतलब अब स्टार्टअप्स के फाउंडर्स ही 30 साल के हैं.
आई नो.
एंड तो कल्चर तो आई डोंट नो सेट हो रहा है कि नहीं भी मुझे पता नहीं, बिकॉज organizations, they're coming out so fast. And young people when they join, so I mean I think one of the biggest questions I'm hearing, and because you work with so many young people and staff out there, is it's difficult, right? What skill sets to have, so people are prepping a lot more before going to college also.
Yes.
But how much to do, because is the manager, are they ready to train them, or should they just come pakaya, so should they get all the skills? So should they do a bunch of internships? I don't know, like it's a question that I think we've also been talking about, right? Yeah. So it's a big question out there, and what's your take coming from the other side?
I think Bindi, it's a myth कि pakaya material या resource मिलेगा. हाँ, half cooked मिल सकता है, semi cooked मिल सकता है, कि youth should also make that effort to get little preparation when they're entering professional world.
So get a couple of internships, get more experience.
And internships will tell them what is their potential also.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, and thanks to our academics and the kinds of curriculum colleges are releasing, are very good blend now. How, Western universities have been doing and pursuing and offering to their students since a very long time. That you can combine economics with, mass communication or something like that. Very, very varied group of subjects that they are learning. So at times the kids are also little confused कि मुझे क्या करना चाहिए, and they tend to follow the trend also कि ये चल रहा है, this is giving more money, let me get into this. But is it really a potential? So I think internships will help them to know, first of all, that which is their area where they should excel. And when they enter, they are at least not entering blank slate. And also managers and the hiring managers are not getting someone who doesn't even understand a basic value system of a professional environment.
Right.
सो दैट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि स्किल सिखाने में बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है टू एनी मैनेजर. वो स्किल वही ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग में हो जाता है, यू नो. बट अगर विल नहीं होगा ना, इट इज़ सो डिफिकल्ट. एंड आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ आवर मैनेजर्स आर स्ट्रगलिंग विद दिस एरिया कि विल के साथ आए बच्चा, then we are happy to train them. We're happy to give that effort because they have been also trained in that environment, you know, वो will के साथ आए थे. And these kids are pretty fortunate that they have exposure to a lot of different kinds of internships, plethora of platforms, online platforms from where they can learn and they can absorb, they can go and give interviews. But back then we didn't have that,
Right.
And also I think it's a piece to understand that when our parents and grandparents started working, उनके लिए जॉब इम्पॉर्टेंट थी रोटी कपड़ा मकान लाने के लिए. वो एसेंशियल था उनके लाइफ में कि ये हो जाए, मैं इसलिए कमा रहा हूँ या कमा रही हूँ. उसके बाद आए हमारे पेरेंट्स, वो अपने लाइफस्टाइल के स्टैंडर्ड को, एक लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड को शेप देने के लिए जॉब करने लगे, बिकॉज रोटी कपड़ा मकान वाज टेकन केयर बाय देयर पेरेंट्स. सो फॉर देम स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग गॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो दे स्टार्टेड अर्निंग and they started giving the right education to their kids and a decent living to their family. That was their aim. उसके बाद आया अब ये next generation, we or you know the next to us. So उनके लिए quality of life has become very important because rest everything has been taken care of by their grandparents and parents. तो इनके लिए quality is a question in everywhere, be it living or be at work. तो again there is a gap. वो कह रहे हैं कि मैं प्रिपेयर करके एफर्ट मार के तो पहुंच रहा हूँ, बट am I getting a quality role and responsibility when I'm joining an organization? That's also a question in their head. And they're very vocal. They're vocal about it, which is a good part. Which is a good part. They're vocal about it, asking such meaningful questions right at the interview process, that what I will be doing. And our job as leaders, managers of the organization is to make them understand that what impact also they are creating. Just not कि ये तुम्हारा काम है पॉइंट ए से पॉइंट बी तक अचीव करना, बट क्या वो अचीव करके आप ओवरऑल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कोई इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट कर रहे हो कि नहीं, वो बताना बहुत जरूरी है उनको, बिकॉज दैट मेक्स सेंस टू देम एंड दैट हिट्स देयर ब्रेन एंड दैट विल ऑल्सो एंगेज देम इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर लॉन्गर पीरियड. सो अभी तो खैर स्टेबिलिटी इज has taken a very different shape. Earlier resumes जब हम स्कैन करते थे तो देखते थे कितने साल एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बिताया, पर अब स्कैनिंग का तरीका भी बदल गया है, कितने कंपनीज में किस किस तरीके का एक्सपीरियंस लिया है इस बच्चे ने. सो दैट्स हाउ कैंडिडेट्स आर बीइंग.
एक तरीके से आप बोल रहे हो कि बच्चे को पोर्टफोलियो बनाना चाहिए इवन बिफोर दे लैंड अप इन अ जॉब, कि 2-3 इंटर्नशिप करो, एक्सपीरियंस लो, पेड अनपेड व्हाटएवर इट इज, गेट एक्सपीरियंस इज द मेन एसेंशियल थिंग इज व्हाट आई एम हियरिंग.
जहां से ज्ञान मिले बस ले लो, लाइक हाउ रैंचो सेड इन 3 Idiots. तो वो जरूरी है, irrespective of thinking कि will this be a paid internship for me, because just don't mix learning versus earning. Learning will always take a higher place in your life as versus earning. Earning अपने आप चल के आएगी.
Right. And tell me this, I mean, I think this whole world of people, I would say, or is changing radically. ना मतलब दुनिया इतनी fast बदल रही है. I think internet came in when we were young, but then I think social media and all of it, and now AI, right? Like this whole world has taken a, I don't know, 360 degree, I think, in a sense. And how are you feeling your journey evolved, right? क्योंकि आपने तो एक चीज से शुरू की, पर वो तो अब है भी नहीं, मतलब आधी चीजें तो अब हम मतलब कैसे सीख रहे बहुत अलग है. मतलब बच्चे टेक में है, बच्चे ह्यूमन से इंटरेक्ट नहीं करे, पता नहीं. आई मीन, व्हाट आर यू सीइंग आउट देयर दैट इज सो डिफरेंट, एंड हाउ आर यू सीइंग योर जर्नी एज इंडिविजुअली एंड एज द कंपनी इवॉल्व देन?
Yeah, it is changing, like you said, radically, yes. And that is also giving us opportunity to explore new areas. So we started with, of course, skill building and employee trainings. But I also started with another piece simultaneously, which was HR advisory,
Acha.
which was to do with the restructuring of the organization design if need be, or defining their roles and responsibilities, doing the HR policies for them. I think that is coming back again, because now I feel it's important for me as an entrepreneur and my team to give that flavor of transformation to the businesses.
Huh.
By transformation, what I mean is, we work with the leaders, we work with the managers, we make those managers and the people leaders the internal trainers of their organization, rather than they getting external trainers and spending a lot on L&D programs through externals. They should make upskill their own leaders, so that the youth which is entering, they should look up to them with respect to soft skills
Yeah.
also and technical skills also. By that, I have high respect and regard, because I'm also a corporate trainer and have been still doing workshops for a lot of my clients. So I have high regard for those trainers who are in the industry and who are giving, imparting knowledge out of their experiences. I think the nature of trainings have also changed. So not that everyone is up for a 8 hours of training program anymore. They are happy doing capsule workshops,
Huh.
maybe a 2 to 3 hour of capsule workshop, could be hybrid, could be online, could be offline, whatever works with the organization. Yes, during COVID, we were doing a lot of online workshops, but then suddenly the leaders felt, no, no, we are missing the human touch. We have to get back to our workplaces and we have to invite more externals to give that human touch and make them realize that soft skills to bas e-learning se nahi ho sakta. It has to be a person being there, giving you the right techniques, making you realize that these are the life case scenarios, and there has to be a conversation. So conversation definitely doesn't goes out of it. Like if you take for example, a performance management system of an organization is evolving with respect to technology. AI is also coming into picture, so it's helping build the tool very robust. But are the conversations getting via tool? No, that still has to have it. वहाँ लोगों का बातचीत करना ज़रूरी है. एक मैनेजर का इन पर्सन जाके फीडबैक देना और लेना will not go out of this generation. So वो रहेगा, वो फिर भी रहेगा. AI is just helping them, ease out their work and helping them decrease the efficiency. I mean, increase the efficiency and decrease their time in terms of filling up forms or maybe in terms of recording it. That's the only process which is
And
not
personally, if
replaced.
I if I look at Sonali as the leader, right? How has this been challenging, right? Because I'm guessing you're constantly upskilling yourself to
Yes.
deal with, from the baby boomers, they would, as they say, the boomers, to like the millennials, to like Gen Z,
Yeah.
very soon Gen Alpha. How are you doing this, this whole journey, and how challenging is this for you?
It is challenging, Bindi. Absolutely challenging, because every workshop is a training for me.
Yeah.
I'm meeting a different bunch of people, various mindset. That also gives me a high. Like I said, I'm a people's person and I love doing different projects, meeting new people. But at the same time, before even planning for a workshop or designing the content, it's challenging to bring out new type of experiential learning pedagogy. So I put my brain very hard on how to design the pedagogy than giving more content, because वो 7 से 8 घंटे में typically I cannot load a bunch of 30-40 people with a lot of tools and techniques. वो ऐसे उड़ जाएगा.
हाँ.
And that is not my objective. अगर मैं उसमें से 2 tools इस तरीके से absorb कर रहा हूँ through experiential learning and certain interesting activities, I think वो याद रखेंगे मुझे भी और उस content को भी. वो register होना चाहिए. For me, that is important. So I think that is how it has evolved. So at times I'm not even using PowerPoint slides during my workshops.
Yeah.
I completely go without the screens, but that has helped, and that has helped the group who have learned with me. They never felt disengaged. Fortunately I've got those feedbacks always after trainings that it is highly engaging. Because मैं उनको हमेशा यही बोल के शुरू करती हूँ, अगर तुम नहीं बात करोगे ना मैं बोर हो जाऊंगी. So please, it has to be a dialogue, it has to be conversations, और इतना शोर मचना चाहिए कि पता चले कि इतने लोग 40 लोग बैठकर ब्रेनस्टॉर्म कर रहे हैं एक रूम में. So for me, that is a high, and I tell them very clearly.
Sonali, if I was looking at that young girl from Korba, right? Did you think यहाँ आएंगे? मतलब आप कितना करते हो? दो बच्चे की माँ, इतनी बड़ी कंपनी चलाते हो, मोटरसाइकिल चलाते हो, बहुत कुछ करते हो. तो and it's working with so many people and
Yeah.
inspiring so many of them to grow in their journeys. Did you what was the thought, or what do you, if you reflect back, how do you feel about this whole journey that you've gone through?
Never thought, Bindi, I'll reach this far. And if from my school, my teachers must be in a shock knowing that I'm a public speaker or a corporate trainer now and an entrepreneur, because I was a very shy kid in school, not at home, by the way. So I was the most mischievous one out of both my siblings. But at school, I was very shy. I had huge stage fear. I wasn't comfortable in front of mics or cameras or going to the stage. But I think music turned my life. And I always thank my parents for encouraging me learning music and giving me that courage then go to the stage and at least sing. So when I started participating in those singing competitions and I won, oh, that gave me a lot of courage. And I also found, yeah, I think a sense of accomplishment and little recognition definitely charges me up. And that gave me a lot of confidence to face public. Going back then, I never thought I'll be here. अब तो मतलब obviously हंसी भी आती है when we went for a school reunions. A lot of my batchmates were, I mean, I'm sure they must be not telling me on my face, पर वो शॉक में तो जरूर होंगे कि यार ये कहाँ से कहाँ पहुंची है.
और मुझे ये बताओ, what is next, right? मतलब इतना कुछ किया हुआ है. What are you thinking next in this journey? Personally, I'm sure there's a lot in the plate, but professionally, where are you thinking, what next for you? So
Professionally, yes, focusing on business transformation, of course, because I think that's the need of the hour. More than training, it's important that we discuss their real problem statement with the leaders and founders. We understand what's the gap, and going back to that journey, कि trainings की ज़रूरत है भी कि नहीं है at this level, right? Not that कि एक ट्रेनिंग कैलेंडर बना दिया और एक चेकलिस्ट की तरह बोला कि ये ट्रेनिंग्स करने हैं साल में या क्वार्टर में इतने, वो करने की ज़रूरत है. डू यू वांट टू रियली स्पेंड योर मनी देयर? नो. Maybe something else might work here.
हाँ,
Maybe
क्योंकि
a
दुनिया
group
बहुत ज़्यादा बदल रही है. हाँ.
Maybe group coaching can work, internal mentors can work. Maybe a piece of transformation can transform your journey with your people more.
Right.
So I'm more interested in working and partnering that journey with the leaders in the industry. That's my focus. Another focus area which has gradually, it's growing into my head, and I'm contemplating that rather than focusing on trainings of adults, should I I've already started my research. Should I work with the students who are right now growing up with so much of technology around them, more than human they are with gadgets? So क्या उनसे बात करके into can I be that torch bearer for them, or maybe giving the direction to them कि यहाँ से अब कहाँ जा सकते हो आप, and also showing them that path, that what meaningful internships or meaningful education would also work for you after school. So working with school kids is something that's going into my head, and that will be my next project.
Beautiful.
So I'm still into my research, what can be done and how we can shape them better and partner the parents now. Because I'm a parent, I know what is a challenge, growing a child in this era who's well informed, who is very well vocal, talking about their interests right from the age of 7 years. So I know I have been through that stage, and I'm still struggling to answer a lot of questions that they ask. So I'm talking to people, I'm doing my research, my Reiki, that how can I support parents in developing kids and channelizing their
Beautiful. I
growth
think
path.
it's the same demographic we are working at VAll. So nice that someone else is thinking about it as well. So on this note, I think we're going to have a little rapid fire just for
Sure.
fun. So tell me this now, because we're working with a lot of young people, and you said, they should get experiences. So what's the one misconception you feel about, working for free, or, this constant need to get paid internships, as they say so?
See, internships is important. Getting the right project and experience is important. The term paid is not that important. And as kids, as youth, I think they should only focus on the learning part. Like I said, earning versus learning, choose learning in your start of the career. That will pay off you with heavy loaded earning in your life. So I think actually it's a myth कि हम हमेशा paid internships ढूंढते हैं, because as kids also we are seeing कि कुछ पॉकेट मनी मिल जाए so that I can spend on my phone or on some other gadget.
Right.
But please build on the knowledge that is available in the market and get more internships. That's the only recommendation and piece of advice I would like to give them. कि again going back to that conversation, जहाँ से ज्ञान मिल रहा है, जहाँ बट रहा है, please ले लो. बहुत important है.
And is there a cause that you care about, right? Something that you're passionate about that you, if you had time, you would work on?
I think one cause will be, yes, it can be sports because that's how I grew up. My dad always said that मेरी बस एक ही requirement है, एक sport life में follow करो, because that teaches you a lot of discipline as a person. You inculcate the art of diligence in you when you are into that sport. So अगर मैं उस cause के लिए कुछ effort डाल सकूं as an entrepreneur, as a contributor to the society, I think I would love to work in that area because I have seen the benefits of that cause. एंड यूथ के लिए तो बहुत बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. इट इज रिलेटेड टू योर मेंटल एंड फिजिकल फिटनेस बोथ. आई स्टिल वर्क आउट वेन एवर आई गेट टाइम. For bike riding also, I did my strength training. It is not easy, to maneuver those machines which are so heavy on the road. So I feel that's one cause I would love to work for.
Wonderful. And finally, I think, is there a message that you want to give to the youth that we are working with at VAll? Any message that you'd want to give the youth of today, right?
I think be vigilant and absorbent to your surrounding, from where you can get certain learnings for your life to upgrade your skill sets, and just don't leave your passion. It is very important to build your personality, who you are, and you would love when you grow as a professional with those professional skill sets and those interesting, beautiful behavioral skill sets which will come only through your passion. So that's my piece of advice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that was a wonderful conversation that we had with Sonali today. I think just learning about this world of people, as I would say, I shouldn't call it HR, but it's more this world of people. We've learned so much more, and I think there's a direction for the youth to grow your experiences to actually be employable. So, why don't you check the whole episode and then watch all the other episodes that we're doing on We Talk, and like, share, subscribe, because we have so much more coming and so many more interesting leaders coming on it. So thank you so much. And thank you, Sonali.
Thank you so much.
It's wonderful.